Coming up on this episode of DL Weekly, Pirates of the Caribbean reopens with some new magic. Disney gift cards become easier to use.
New holiday merchandise has been announced. Some panels at the D23 Ultimate Fan event have been revealed. We finish our discussion about my visit to the Tokyo Disneyland Resort and more. DL Weekly starts now.
Ahoy there, Weekly Tears! For your safety, remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the podcast. And watch your children. And no flash pictures. Prepare to make sail!
Well, hello and welcome to this episode of DL Weekly for the week of July 1st, 2026. I'm Teresa Urban.
And filling in for Tag, I'm Ryan Phelps.
We would like to thank everyone who supports the show. This week, we would like to give a special shout out to Emily Z for becoming a new weekly tier, and for our returning and continued weekly tiers, Leslie U, Ruben O, and Aaron S for your continued support. If you would like to help support the show and get ad-free versions of each episode, access to our supporter-only chat, and a bunch of other really fun perks, head on over to dlweekly.net/support and become an official weekly tier.
Now, let's get to the news.
Dateline DL Weekly. Fiction becomes fact as the mysterious subcontinent reveals a legendary podcast. After 2,000 years, two hosts have been unearthed by famed archaeologist Dr. Henry Indiana Jones. Scholarly research laid the groundwork for Jones's discovery. Thus, the jungles of DL Weekly become the destination for listeners worldwide. And what a destination it is! Until next week, this is Eye on Breaking News.
Disneyland's legendary Pirates of the Caribbean attraction has officially reopened, and with it, a new animatronic. Imagineers have combined a mechanical figure with advanced front projection technology to show a skeleton pirate morphing into a living buccaneer as he lifts and drops a cursed Aztec medallion. This new addition has sparked intense debate among park fans, with critics arguing that the realistic appearance and loud sound effects disrupt the original eerie, silent atmosphere created by the original Imagineers.
So, full disclosure before we get into this, neither Ryan or I have been able to see this ourselves in person. We have just experienced this via the wonders of the internet. And the really great, if you haven't seen it yet and you're okay with magic spoilers, there was a great YouTube little short that Imagineering put out about this new pirate animatronic. So that is where we're coming from. We're coming from that lens. And I both think, before we get into it, that neither of us are like solid in our opinion yet. We're both very like, we need to see it in person before we like have like, you know, the official opinion. But we're just going to share our initial thoughts at this point in time. So Ryan, what was your first thought when Pirates reopened and the entire world learned at the same time that there was a new, it's not even a new character because it's a new telling or a reimagination of a character that had existed.
Yeah, the Discord was going kind of crazy with this when the news dropped, and I had additionally said I'm going to remain spoiler free and not watch the video. I held out for like 45 minutes, and then I ended up watching the video because curiosity got me. And I kind of think that Disney's darned if they do, darned if they don't with releasing this kind of stuff in advance. Because if it just came out, people would be shocked and may react negatively. Or they put something out like this and we're experiencing it in a way that I don't think it's really meant to be experienced, from the lighting and the distance from the audio animatronic. Kind of like with Walt in the Opera House. It was hard to watch that initial video, but then seeing it in person is a much different experience than watching it on a video. So I at first wanted to be cautiously optimistic, but I watched it a few times and there's still something that's not quite sitting right with me. But like you said before, reserving judgment to seeing it in person.
So for me, I was actually, first of all, very surprised that they did this, because it felt like it kind of was on nobody's radar that this may be, that there might be some updates. Everyone just assumed that this was kind of like the typical downtime for pirates and that they were just doing, the typical, maintenance that's required of these attractions. So I think that was the first thing. I was very caught off guard because it was not on my bingo card. The other thing too, the first time I watched it, I was really, really blown away by the technology. So again, if you're okay with magic spoilers, it does give a bit of the behind the scenes on how this figure works and the technology behind it. I was absolutely blown away and very impressed with this new version. And this is coming from, as you all know, someone that is not a fan of projected faces, but this is different. So all of the projected faces prior to this new technology were back projected. So think of like how your television works, the light's coming from like inside of and outwards. Whereas this, think of more like a movie projector. It's being projected onto it, but there's this crazy, I'm not even going to try and explain all the details, mapping technology that they have. There's like symbols that are embedded in the pirate's bandana that you can't see unless you use a black light on it, and that helps calibrate it. So they could, even if he malfunctions and his head moves somewhere that it's not programmed to move, the projection technology will still follow and not like be all wonky, which that was really, really cool and really impressive. With all of that said, the more I kind of thought about it, the more it's just the more uneasy I feel about it. And I think it's kind of like well, I'll just get to that first. So it's the thing that is very confusing to me is it's telling part of a story that I don't know if people were not understanding before. And this pirate, it's in the treasure room, happens before we get to the transition pirate, which is literally the next scene. That is the transition from the skeleton pirates to the living pirates. So I feel like he feels out of place because he's kind of a both pirate where he's living and also a skeleton because he keeps getting himself stuck in this loop of picking up a cursed piece of gold, getting cursed, becoming the skeleton, but then like as a skeleton, he drops it, so he becomes human again, but he's a pirate and he sees treasure, so he grabs it, and he's just kind of stuck in this endless loop, which I know that because the Imagineers explained that. I would be curious to the average park guest if they understand.
Yeah, if it's obvious.
Yeah, if that kind of comes through without having been told that. And then the other thing too that I saw online is they were trying to tie it more into the like Pirates of the Caribbean film franchise storyline with the Aztec gold, and I feel like that maybe necessarily wasn't needed either because that transition of pirates from the OG pirates to let's put the film characters in pirates, that happened a while ago. So I don't know if we necessarily needed to draw that connection further. And then the other thing that's just a little difficult to me is I feel like he's almost a little bit too advanced compared to the rest of the attraction. And so that also makes him feel out of place. I could see this technology, and maybe we'll see it. Maybe it will appear here. This technology feels like it would be something fantastic elsewhere. So maybe like in the Coco attraction with those skeletons that are going to be coming to life.
That's a great idea.
Maybe that'd be a great use of this technology or something else. I kind of think of it like the update in the most recent update in the Haunted Mansion where they updated the bride and her current form, how she's kind of like a projection type thing. And honestly, as a Haunted Mansion fan, since they changed her, I kind of forget about her. I think because again, she just doesn't feel like she makes sense with the overall feel of the attraction because she's a little bit too advanced. So when Imagineers, and we've seen them do this plenty of times, go in and plus these older attractions, I think it takes a lot of care to kind of put something in there that you wouldn't know was new, if that makes sense. So like when they, back to Pirates, when they updated the auction scene, to me, if you didn't know that wasn't the original auction scene, none of those figures feel like they're out of place. Whereas our new pirate, it's kind of like one of these things is not like the other, and he's just feeling a little out of place because he's not matching the overall
aesthetic
theme, I guess. Yeah. Aesthetic. That's a good way to say it. Yeah. And that's kind of how I feel about the Haunted Mansion bride. Like, think of the Hatbox Ghost is right next to her, and he's also a newer addition to the Haunted Mansion, but he doesn't feel like he wasn't always there.
Yeah, I think like you've got a lot of static characters and those skeletons for that first half of the entire ride, and then to have movement just seems so bizarre too, because you've got a lot of atmospheric movement with the water, obviously the area and the sails and things that are blowing in the background, but you never really get, I guess, other than the one pirate drinking the endless bottle of wine, there's not a lot of movement in any of the scenes. So
that's true.
It's to have him up and down and transitioning. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and like a lot of the movement. So there's also the pirate that's steering the ghost ship is what I call it. Like there's subtle movement with him, but most of that movement is like the wind and the lighting, like the lightning effects, and like it's more about the atmosphere than the actual figure moving. But yeah, so I'm still gonna withhold final judgment until we get to experience it in person, and I do also understand that it's a new figure, so things that other people have pointed out online about maybe he's too loud in the sound, and they can adjust all of that stuff, but my biggest fear is just how it fits in overall. I always have to kind of think back to because we're park fans at heart, and we really want the best for whatever these things are, and a lot of people I think the park fans are just always going to be upset about new additions no matter what. And I do think, yes, there are some people that are like that. I don't consider myself to be that person, but I do have to try and remind myself, like when we had Philander on, one of the first time that he was on the DL Weekly podcast, he talked about Tomorrowland and like made us kind of take a couple of steps back and realize to the average guest, they don't see anything wrong with Tomorrowland. They think it's great and fun and exciting. So I'm trying to take a couple of steps back with this new pirate and think about it from, the typical average day, not the crazy theme park lovers that we are, the typical average theme park guest, and what if this would feel the same to them, or if it makes total sense, because maybe those people weren't understanding why are we seeing a bunch of skeletons and now they're all alive, and so they kind of needed a little bit more help with the transition than theme park lovers do.
Yeah, if this was your very first time on any Pirates of the Caribbean attraction, anytime, anywhere, this might just fit right in to the narrative that's going for it.
Yeah, and like I said, and maybe even in some case, maybe it's helpful and actually gives more of the story that we as park fans kind of take for granted that we just have ingrained because we're nerds and know all the history and just know all the ins and outs. But yeah, so again, very controversial online. Very, very controversial. I don't like almost to the level of like not quite, but it seems to me that this is blowing up almost to the level that we saw like for Walt with the Walt animatronic.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Well, some really good news that honestly this was like the most exciting news to me this week is that anyone who loves using Disney gift cards, the official apps for both Walt Disney World and Disneyland just got a massive upgrade. You can now finally save a gift card directly to your digital wallet as your default payment method instead of having to copy and paste that very long 16-digit number every single time. This is a total game changer for speeding up your mobile order foods and merchandise checkouts during your next park day.
I think this is a fantastic update, and I think it's well overdue. Most other programs that have things like this, you've been able to do this for ages. It's always been a pain. My friends and family know what I'm all about, and so Disney gift cards are a big thing for us. And so wandering around with the park with a handful of gift cards and then trying to remember, is this the one that I used or I didn't use, trying to file them away, it's going to be so much easier just to plunk them all into the app and be done with it all.
Ryan, can I make your life like a touch bit easier?
Yes.
If you go onto the Disney like gift card website, same website that you go check your balance, you can transfer balances of your card so that you just have like one mega Disney gift card.
Okay, well,
so then you only have one 16-digit long number that you need to be using. So then you could have just that one. So what you could do, honestly, this would be my like pro tip here. I would pick whatever your favorite is. I'd keep a physical card too. It's always good to have a physical card just in case. Pick whatever your favorite is, and that's just your Disney card. So anytime somebody gives you a Disney card, just transfer the balance off of that card onto that physical card, or same thing with like the digital card. You can transfer the, if they email you a card or something like that, you can transfer it onto that one. Make your life a little easier.
That does sound way easier. I had no clue all these years.
Yeah. I do that with other, like, I want to say like Starbucks and other gift card places do that too. And it has simplified my life. So that, plus the fact that I don't have to have like a separate note saved in my iPhone somewhere so that I can copy and paste the number over, and because you couldn't even scan the card and have it read like the barcode for you. No. You had to sit there and type the entire number in. So the hack was, have it saved in like a note on your phone so you can just copy and paste it whenever you need to. So this is huge. This is what the people want. Like, I just love that they did this though, because this is something that I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to understand tech and apps and like the backside of how they work. It's something that I feel like probably wasn't a very difficult thing to do. Something that probably just wasn't really a priority to Disney because, it's not impacting them. But it's a huge, like, make our lives easier thing on the customer, on the guest side. That just is helps with quality of life. This is kind of quality of park life, I should say, and helps kind of go in line with Josh D'Amaro had been talking about how he's trying to look at things to try and make it so that that people aren't as tied to their phone in the parks as they had been. This is one of those things, because yes, you are still using your phone for mobile order or more mobile checkout if you're using it to purchase merchandise, but you're saving, even if it's seconds or a minute, by not having to type this in, you're still saving time and you're not having to be on that phone quite as much. So small wins add up to big successes.
Exactly. Disney just dropped a halfway to the holiday sneak peek at their upcoming 2026 winter merchandise. Items include park favorites like Spirit jerseys, mouse ears, and new festive additions for the Create Your Own headband line. They also teased a brand new pastel holiday collection featuring soft pinks and greens, along with a miniature toy soldier Mickey bag charm.
So Ryan, I know this was your most anticipated news story of the week. Did you have time to look through and make your little wish list of things that you would be interested in from this merch drop or from this merch sneak peek?
Yeah, I was having a look. Teresa and I were laughing because as a teacher up here in Canada, we just started our summer break. So I'm like, how are we talking about Christmas and the holidays? And I've just started my summer, but that's okay. I am a big Christmas and holidays fan. So I was looking, there is some Christmas ornaments for the tree ornaments that look like they're glass. They look like they're old school sort of glass creations that I think just look absolutely gorgeous. We don't have a lot of room on our tree for more Christmas ornaments, but I think I might be looking for those ones. I also really like this merch. There's a hat and a sweater too. I couldn't tell if it was a zip up or a pullover. It's got the Disneyland logo with the Christmas lights all strung through it. And I think that looks really, really cute. Was there anything that was really sticking out to you in this release?
So same as you, I really enjoy it's a navy blue sweatshirt. We can only see the back. So maybe it's a zip up, maybe it's just a hoodie, but it has Disneyland. There's a Santa hat on the D, and you've got it all tangled up in Mickey holiday lights. I really, really like that design as well. And then there are also ears. Shocker, I know, everyone.
Oh, yeah.
There are ears that I really, really like. They are like a forest green ear with a shimmery red bow, but there's little candy canes in there. So for me, that's one of my favorite holiday themed treats, I guess. But I also love that Disneyland is known for their candy canes during the holiday season. So I like the extra kind of, not like it's a hidden detail, but in my heart, it's a little bit of an extra hidden detail specifically for Disneyland. So those would be two things that would make it on my Christmas wish list. Well, Rays Berets over in Bayou Country is losing a major piece of its iconic charm. The building's famous living room is being completely removed, meaning the real grass that grew on top of the structure for decades is being replaced with artificial grass. Womp womp.
This one's really sad for me because
it is.
I think one of the real joys of that area is having that lush, like nice looking real foliage. And as much as they can do to make artificial grass look real, it's just not quite the same. So I think it's going to be a bit of a downgrade, maybe one that's kind of get used to, but it's really sad.
No, I'm right there with you. This is, again, not something that I was kind of expecting, but MiceChat was reporting on this. And MiceChat's been reporting for quite a while that something about the grass has just really been struggling ever since they transitioned. Previously, when this was the Briar Patch, I'd kind of forgotten about this, but MiceChat shared photos. The Briar Patch used to have a living roof as well, but it was kind of a variety of things, and it looked like it was mainly some ferns and like some vines and different things. But when they transitioned to raised berets, it went to a grass roof, and they just were struggling with keeping that grass roof alive, well, and healthy, and not just kind of like dead and brown. So it's curious to me that instead of switching, I get why we're getting rid of the real grass, because it just wasn't working for who knows what reason. I get that. But what is interesting is that they didn't just pivot and go back to what had been working for quite a while on the Briar Patch and go with kind of a more non-grass but still green roof.
Yeah, you'd think that, because I know Disney employs like some fantastic gardeners and horticulturalists and things like that they would have been able to find something that would thrive up there, like the ferns and everything. I guess maybe did they just choose a grass that was too susceptible to the Southern California heat and lack of rain, or what's going on? But obviously something worked for a long time.
The other thing too, as I'm scrolling through, that would have worked really well in theme would be like if they would have gotten some, whether alive or faux, but Spanish moss. Oh, yeah. That would have worked really well. And maybe they will. Maybe they'll kind of like have some of that on the edges to kind of tie it into Bayou country a little bit more than just the faux grass. But, it's hard because when they switched out the grass at the entrance around the Mickey floral, we were a little nervous about that, but it is a pretty good quality grass that unless you're like right up on it, it's not obvious. And same thing even with the Haunted Mansion, when they replaced in the entrance area where the fountain had been, but it's the fountain booth. Anyways, in that entrance area there, that's all faux grass, which had been real at one point as well. And again, like to the average park guest, they probably don't even really notice that it's different. So again, holding off judgment. I have a little bit more faith in this grass though than I do for the pirate.
Our pirate,
but holding off official judgment until we get to see it in person.
Yeah, the scrim still seems to be up, so as soon as that comes down, I'm sure we'll get an update in pictures. Disneyland is rolling out a new summer evening ticket, offering guests discounted admission on select nights from July 12th to August 5th for just $59. The ticket includes entry to Disney California Adventure beginning at 5 p.m. or Disneyland Park beginning at 7 p.m., giving guests a lower cost way to enjoy the parks and nighttime entertainment without paying for a full day.
This is like breaking news. This literally just dropped today as we record this June 30th. And I find this fascinating. Honestly, I'm so excited that they're doing this, and I hope that this is something that sticks around. So, random personal reason for that. So when we got married, Vern and I, as some of you may know, got married at the Disneyland Resort. This was back in 2022. And this would have been such a great thing to have for stuff like this. Think if you're in the area, but you're at some sort of work conference or whatever, and you can't be there for the full park day, but you would want to do just an evening. I think this is a great thing to have available for those kind of specific things. So like, again, back to Vern and I's hyper-specific situation. We got married in the morning. We had a brunch reception, and then the plan was that everybody would go visit the parks. Well, we did that. However, everybody had to buy a full day ticket where they were only using their ticket like for the evening, for the afternoon and evening portion of the day. So they didn't get the full use of their ticket. So this would be such a great option. The other thing too, a lot of people may not realize this. A lot of people assume that the summer is like the busy, busy time at the resort because, right, kids are out of school, everybody's vacationing, all that sort of thing. However, there's been kind of this weird phenomena the past few years. That's not the case anymore. Summer is actually kind of like the downtime and the time to visit the park. So this will also kind of boost park attendance by getting getting some of those folks that maybe wouldn't have been buying the full day ticket and giving them the option to have the part day ticket. And I don't know, in the middle of summer, I think an evening ticket sounds like perfect because then you're there when it's cooling down again. You're not there in the heat of the day, so you can still go and enjoy the parks.
Yeah, for a selfish kind of reason, I would be happy if they continued this on too, because I'm that crazy person that we obviously, when we arrive, we don't have magic keys. So when we arrive at the parks, we generally don't have park tickets for that day. So I'm that person that's going to my husband saying, so I know it's 1:00, but that's still 10 or 11 hours of park time. So let's just buy a park ticket. And I always get, no, that's just wait. So I could probably convince Kevin for $59 to go in later in the day. But that's kind of just in my own unique situation. But I think, like you said, it's fantastic for people that are in the area for a conference and you might want to pop over or just like have a few hours, beat the heat. So it'll be interesting to see if this is something that sticks around or if this is kind of a one-off. Maybe it's a trial just to see what the response is like from people.
Yeah. I think going forward, I could see them doing this at certain times of the year versus other times of the year. Because I'm thinking like the Halloween season. Oh no, you want to be in the park in the morning and during the day because in the evening, it's a very popular time and a lot of the local pass holders want to come and enjoy the park. So there's actually more of an influx in the evening at certain times of the year. Whereas during the summer, it's kind of the sweet spot because you've got annual passes, or magic keys that are blocked out during the summer. So they aren't able to go. But also, it's, again, kids are out of school. It's vacation time. So a lot of people that have annual passes or the magic keys are vacationing elsewhere. So they're not home visiting their home park of Disneyland. So you kind of have, it's kind of a couple of things that have churned into the mix of when you would go. And the other thing too, if I was a local and I had a magic key, I don't know if summer would be like the time I chose to go there because it's hot. Yeah. And, it's just not as enjoyable to be outside. Southern California has beautiful weather for vast majority of the year. So there are much more pleasant times to be outside all day.
Yeah. And I did notice that it does end the week before the Ultimate Fan event, which I guess sort of makes sense because I don't know.
They would have sold a bunch of tickets.
Huge influx of people that aren't going to the Honda Center panels that would be like, okay, we're going over to Disneyland for $59. I don't know. Maybe that would have been a good thing for them.
That's a great point, Ryan. I wonder why they didn't have it extended to that because I'm sure they would have had people take, either coming into town early or weren't going to be going to the Honda Center events, but maybe there weren't anything at the convention center they were interested in. So they decided to spend the evening in Disneyland or California Adventure instead. That's a good call out there. I feel like that was a missed opportunity. Speaking of, Disney has revealed even more of what's coming this year to D23, the Ultimate Disney Fan Event, with more than 50 afternoon panels, presentations, and live shows now on the schedule. New additions include a 101 Dalmatians 65th anniversary celebration, a look back at the legendary Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse. There are 2 panels discussing Walt and his life, plus the Disney Experiences auction featuring authentic parks artifacts. There's also a new Disney Rewind concert celebrating fan-favorite Disney songs from the 80s and 90s. And closing out the weekend is what could be one of the event's biggest highlights. Disney legend Alan Menken takes the stage for a rare solo concert performing songs from The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Hercules, and more while sharing the stories behind some of Disney's most iconic music. If you didn't have a ticket, now you're going to want one. Tickets for the afternoon are still on sale if you are curious.
And this was wild yesterday, too, because you and I were talking and we both had to kind of check ourselves and be like, did we miss other announcements? Because this was a huge drop of news all yesterday. And there are so many things on here that I am ridiculously excited for, like one in particular. But one of the things that I'm really interested in is this Disney Experience auction. Like, I want to check this out. I'm sure that everything at this auction will be far beyond the price point that I'm willing to drop. But hopefully they will have some of these pieces actually there that we can see. But I believe they're taking phone and online bids for this auction as well. So it's probably going to be a big deal.
Wow.
To see what's going to be there.
This was wild. So I do want to just kind of back up a second. There are going to be more than 50 afternoon panels, presentations, live shows. We do not have the full schedule yet. They just kind of gave us a sneak peek. They said that there's going to be that. We don't know what all 50 of those things are just yet, but Michael Vargo did share a sneak peek of what some of those events are. And we mentioned a lot of them, but there's like other ones that we didn't mention. There's ink and these, and they even have the dates. That's the other big thing. So I'll just go through the dates because this was in an email from D23. So on Friday, there's the Walt Disney 125 Years of Inspiration is happening. There's also 20 Years of Enchanted, a love letter to Disney. So that's like Enchanted, I want to say it's Enchanted like the movie because it's italicized. Also, Ink and Paint at Disney Animation. And for my Lorcana fans out there, the Quests Ahead for Disney Lorcana, the trading card game. On Saturday, August 15th, I know one weekly tier in particular that would be very excited about this. Worlds of Tinkerbell, Neverland to Pixie Hollow. We also have Disney Marvel, A Legacy of Stories, presented by the M&Ms, which I think is really funny that M&Ms is presenting that. And then we also have Disney Style Around the World. And then on Sunday, the Disney Experience Auction, which Ryan is very excited about. Rare and Remarkable Finds. I just cannot wait to see what these items are. There's also the 101 Dalmatian 65th anniversary and the Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse panel as well. So not only did we get a sneak peek of what some of these panels are going to be, we also know dates. We don't have times. That's the one last missing piece of the puzzle that is trying to schedule and figure out your D23 Ultimate Fan Event weekend.
I think it's going to be interesting too when we get this whole schedule put out too, because we were talking, we're trying to figure out there's a lot of stuff that we weren't sure about, like dates for, if you haven't been before now, you have to make reservations and you get a random selection process for panels that makes it so that you don't have to line up for everything necessarily. And a lot of dates and things that we hadn't seen that we knew about this time last time we went to the Fan Expo. And so randomly on Reddit, somebody posted a list of these dates. I reached out and tried to find out where they had gotten them from, and it is just buried deep in the D23 website, which really confused me why they don't have some of these things more accessible for the fans that want to know what's happening.
No, that's a good point. And we have a link to that now that we have uncovered all of these specific dates. We have a link for that as well. However, we're going to be nice and kind of share what some of those highlights are. So if you are somebody that has tickets and you're kind of like, dates, what important dates are you talking about? So number one, link is in the show notes. However, key upcoming dates. So July 10th is the last day to transfer your additional guest badges to family and friends. So if you were like the one person in your group and you grabbed everyone's badges, 10th of July, make sure you have them transferred over to your friends and family. Then on the 13th of July, the convention center badges are going to be starting to get mailed out to all the ticket purchasers. July 20th is when the reservation random selection process opens. So you have 4 days to choose and rank your preferences. So this is, again, random selection to get into different experiences and panels that will be at the convention center. And then, so the 20th is when it opens. The 24th is when that closes, and it's at 12 p.m. Pacific when it closes on the 24th. And then August 5th is when those that have Honda Center tickets, your tickets will be delivered digitally to you on August 5th. So key dates, but we have all of that linked in the show notes to the official D23 where you find it. So we know that they're legit. Thank you, Ryan, for going on your
My
quest. Yeah, your Reddit quest to figure out where this person uncovered
where they
all
got
of these
from.
very important things. Yes.
Yeah.
Because at first we're like, oh, what did we miss? Where did dang, we should have had this person on the show just so we could be like, how did you find all of it? Like, how did you find this? This is so helpful. Thank you. The internet, beautiful and scary place all at the same time.
Exactly.
So kind of taking a step back, Ryan. So you said that your kind of like most anticipated or the thing you're most intrigued by with the different panels, presentations that were announced is the Disney Experiences auction. If you could wave your magic wand and there was one anything out of the parks that would be there available to bid on, what would you like? What would be your like most like thing?
Oh, that's a hard one. Just despite the price, another totally
price aside,
illogical thing. If you were at the Fan Expo 2 years ago, in the back section of the floor area, they had some collectibles for sale, and they had a spire from Sleeping Beauty Castle, and I looked at it and I was like, that is just absolutely stunning. But it's, despite being, I think, $14,000 or something like that, it's also massive. You look at the spires, obviously the forced perspective is doing its job on the castle, but this piece was not something that you could just kind of plunk down in your living room because you'd be walking around it forever. But that would be super, super cool to be. The other thing I was just thinking about was, now that we've switched to the digital ghosts in the hitchhiking ghosts in the Haunted Mansion in your mirrors, those original ghosts are somewhere hanging out. I don't know if they've made it into the archives or made their way into personal collections or whatnot, but those would be pretty interesting to own a piece of.
That's true, because previously, if you saw hitchhiking ghosts like in the wild, a lot of them, well, I know at least the ones that you'd see that the archives would bring out for different displays, were typically from the Walt Disney World attraction.
Yeah.
So now we're going to have an influx potentially of Disneyland hitchhiking ghosts. The other thing, I don't know what I like. I'm excited about it because to me, it almost feels like it's an extension of the archives exhibit, which is one of the things that I look forward to every single D23 Expo / Ultimate Fan event that we go to. And this is the other thing I was digging around, because all of these announcements happen. I was digging around on the D23 website to see if there's any other things that may have been posted here that weren't talked about elsewhere, and there were. So back to my friends that are Lorcana folks, there is going to be a one-of-a-kind experience for an event that Ravensburger's hosting, a Disney Lorcana Challenge Championship qualifier, where the winner earns a guaranteed seat into the 2027 Disney Lorcana North American Championship. So if that is your jam, put that on your radar. But the other thing, which again, we already just were talking about the archives, they have announced the archives exhibit. So we know that the exhibit's going to be called Walt Disney Archives Uncrated. It's an all-new exhibit on the show floor that shows fans an unforgettable journey into the vast and hidden warehouses of the Walt Disney Archives. Ryan, you might have to pry me out of this space.
Oh, yeah.
So, guests are going to have the chance to explore theme displays, which feature shipments of various iconic props, costumes, and puppets from some of the most beloved film, television series, and theme parks, which of course is going to span generations. So I'm so curious how they're going to try and create the experience of what it's like to be in the warehouses that house the Disney Archives' vast, vast collection. I cannot wait. This sounds so cool.
I think I'll be there with you. So maybe some of our weekly tier friends, if you see us and we haven't left the archives area, say go check out something else. I'm kind of picturing the Indiana Jones, the big long corridors of boxes and boxes where they they've kept the arc and whatnot.
Oh.
Maybe something like that.
I cannot wait. You know it's going to be good. You know it's going to be good. This is the thing I like. I have a love-hate relationship because I get so excited about so many things, but I also know that I cannot do them all. So we will see. Time will tell. I don't know. I'm sure in the years past, I know for sure I've given a sneak peek to like the supporters in Discord. I end up making like a spreadsheet to try and like map out to figure out all of the different things to keep things on my radar, because I want to do as many of the things that I can do during these experiences. So buckle up, Ryan.
Well, the other one that's really exciting for me is the Alan Menken concert.
Oh, yes.
And
yes.
Like, Alan Menken is probably one of my favorite Disney composers. I'm also a huge musical theater person, so his work on things like Little Shop of Horrors as well, just absolutely stunning. To see him and hear him play and talk about these things, like, I've got my fingers crossed we can make it, because it's on Sunday evening, and the Legends panel is earlier than it was 2 years ago, but I'm hoping that they've left enough time for people to make it from the Honda Center back to the convention center to get in line, or if you manage to get the random selection process for this concert. I'm guessing this is going to be stinking popular.
I'm thinking so too. I'm actually super curious about this because with it being Sunday night. So Ryan, you were there 2 years ago at the last Ultimate Fan event. I'm sure you noticed Sunday is the least popular of the 3 days.
Yeah.
And kind of as the day goes on, the more the crowd thins. And same went for, which I was very surprised, for the Legends ceremony, that there was like all of the people that were our neighbors for the two panels, the 2 nights prior, or the 2 panels, presentations, whatever you want to call it, events more like, when they were at the Honda Center. All of the people around us were not there for the Legends ceremony. There was a less full house for that ceremony than the other one. So I would assume, obviously we were at the Honda Center, but I would assume the same was going on over at the convention center. So maybe they're trying to put like this huge, amazing, awesome thing at the end to kind of like entice people to stay at the convention the full day on Sunday. But I'm very curious how this is going to go. Maybe it'll be good for us, not good for D23, but maybe it'll be good for us and people will still be leaving early, and so it won't be horrible to try and get in, but I don't know if we're going to be that lucky.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, do people fly out Sunday evening because they've got the bulk of the convention has been done? So if you have flights that evening and you're a big Alan Menken fan, I might be hopping on your computer and looking to see what you can do about extending your stay a little bit.
I up, down, touch the ground. I think of things to chew, like honey and milk and chocolate. With a hefty, happy appetite, I'm a hefty, happy poo. A rumbly in my tumbly means it's time for snacks.
Well, we're going to head on over to SnackChat this week for it's a little bit different of announcement. So this is an old favorite, but it has returned. Finally, the Earl of Sandwich has a permanent place to call home after months, no years of being shuffled here, there, and everywhere in downtown Disney. The official new location for Earl of Sandwich has opened. Now, it is just a soft opening. The official grand opening comes later this month, comes in July, but Earl is back.
It looks really nice. Like, since the walls came down, what was it, last week? We talked about the walls coming down. It looks like a nice building from the outside, but the inside is quite nice too. Like, it's really modern. It's got some nice decorations. And the only complaint that, if you look at the Mice Chat article that I was looking at earlier, is they're saying there's still not a ton of seating. So that might be a problem if you go at a really peak popular time.
There's not much seating inside. There is kind of a smaller section that's just outside of Earl that's part like fenced in and part of it's like Earl's patio, I guess would be a good way of saying it. But remember where this location is now. You have like the grassy area and some shaded area that does have additional seating. So there are options, just not a lot, right there inside of Earl of Sandwich. But with the new location came some menu updates. The biggest one, I think, is there's now a roasted carving station where there's whole roasted pastrami sandwiches that are like sliced right off the hunk of meat right before your eyes. So that looks pretty fun. I also feel like the menu expanded. I could be wrong. I am a person that usually sticks to kind of the same thing when I go here, which it's still on the menu. So that's really, that was my first thing. But we've got the hot sandwiches, which we were used to. There's also cold deli sandwiches. There's a selection of breakfast sandwiches, but now there's also some breakfast bowls and burritos in addition to some oatmeal that you can get for breakfast. You've got salads and wraps, which I feel were there. And then when they were at their temporary location, which was the La Brea Bakery, which is now just dirt, they had started introducing some of these other things like pizza breads and mac and cheese, and they did have soup too. But biggest thing is this carving station.
That looks really good. Like I love pastrami, and this picture that I'm looking at right now of the carving station, that is a nice big piece of pastrami, and it looks like it's cooked perfectly. So I'm really interested to try this freshly cut sandwich for us.
Oh, the other thing too, we've got like a bar area, so you can get some adult beverages. Looks like mainly wines and beers are available here. Oh, and the other huge thing that I noticed, the baked goods. They had baked goods again when they were in their temporary location at the old La Brea Bakery, now Dirt Pile, soon to be Porto's. But I don't remember this volume of baked goods. Lots of different types of cakes and cookies and all sorts of things to satisfy your sweet tooth.
Yeah, we have Earl of Sandwich not far from us, but it's itty bitty, so it does not have a lot of these extras. Like it looks like there's cookies with Kit Kat, like put up on top of them.
Oh yeah,
sprinkle cookies, Oreo cookies, which seems redundant, or crushed up Oreos on top of a cookie. And a bunch of cakes too. I'm a sucker for red velvet cake, and it looks like they've got a nice big piece of red velvet cake in this photo as well.
There's an ube cake, a chocolate mousse, and a birthday cake also that I can see from here. Wow. Look at you, Earl, expanding. Love it. I'm unreasonably excited to be able to go to a physical, not the trailer, temporary Earl of Sandwich again. I'm so excited that they finally have their permanent home.
Yeah, listening to you and Tag during SnackChat talking about how it's gone from this place to that place, it's nice that they finally have their perfect forever home.
It's kind of wild because I'm surprised that Earl or Disney or both, for that matter, were okay with the constant moving and rotation like that. That had to be a lot to ask for the poor, the people of Earl of Sandwich, the people that are working there, the higher ups that are all of it, and even Disney having to shift them all over and around downtown Disney. So I am glad that they're back. So if you remember way back, they're almost back to where their original location had been, because Earl of Sandwich did have a permanent location. I don't remember when this closed, but it closed semi-recently. It closed during the duration of this podcast. So sometime since 2017 closed because they actually demolished that building because they were going to do a different project that never came to be. However, that space is now our lovely little green space and mini concert venue at the far end of downtown Disney down by the Disneyland Hotel. So that's where it's kind of wild to me that it's almost full circle after all of this moving around and back and forth. They're almost back to where they had started. In episodes 222 and 338, we spoke with Debbie and Steve over at Designer Park Company about their rope drop, park view, and single rider bags, and more, like their shiny new ears that we use and love. If you've been wanting to get one of these parkour bags for yourself or one of those awesome new sets of ears, use our promo code DLWeekly to get 10% off your purchase at designerparkco.com.
When boarding your TriviaLand boats, please look down and watch your step. For those of you wondering, yes, TNT truly are dynamite together. We tried separating them once, but the trivia just fizzled out.
Welcome to TriviaLand, where we have, as always, the best listeners with the best listener-submitted questions. Teresa and Ryan, how are we feeling tonight? Do you have some knowledge in your brains and you ready to go?
We shall find out.
Can't do worse than last week for me. I'm aiming for anything. Actually, no, I guess I got half of one last week. So better than 0.5.
All right, well, as I was looking these over, I'm feeling confident for you, so don't let me down, please.
Oh, boy.
Setting
the bar high.
Your first listener-submitted question from listener Jocelyn. What year was Harold, the Abominable Snowman, added to the Matterhorn?
Dang it.
I believe it was 1978.
Yeah, was that when they closed the thing? No. You could see him from the Skyway buckets.
You could see him from the sky buckets, yeah. For some reason, 77 sticks out in my head. But that was the year that Star Wars came out, and I don't know why that has any relevance to everything. But I feel like it was after Star Wars because I connected the dots somehow, and I think 78.
I am just throwing one out there because this is one of those things that I've read, but I didn't lock it anywhere into the vaults. 75 is my random guess. 1975.
All right, a split decision. We're saying 78 and 75. Final answers.
I know.
All right.
As good as it's going to get.
Your second question from listener Kristen M. At the loading dock for Jungle Cruise, there is a sign that reads, "Caution, watch the gap."
Love this sign.
What animal is on this sign?
I don't know why, but this is one of my favorite things. In that queue, maybe in that section of the park, maybe in the park. I don't know why, but it every time catches my eye.
I know I've seen the sign, but I cannot for the life of me think of what animal is on there. Like a hippopotamus? Or
a giraffe.
Oh, a giraffe?
Yeah, it's a giraffe. Because he's minding the gap and also watching his head.
Okay.
You going with hippo or giraffe?
I'm gonna go with hippo just to.
You can jump on my Jungle Cruise boat, Ryan. You don't have to be different.
You're gonna be different. You're gonna say it's a hippopotamus.
Hippopotamus.
Yep. All right. So another split decision: a hippopotamus and a giraffe. Your third question from listener Ryan G.H. Not you, Ryan.
Not me.
Nope, not you. Where in the park can you find a remnant of Bugs Land, and where outside of the park can you find remnants of Bugs Land?
Okay, so I have a clarification question on outside of the park. Is it still on resort property?
No.
Okay.
And I did have to look this up.
So outside of the park, you can find remnants at Imagineering. They have some of the ride vehicles in their, I don't know what you want to call it, common space, common green space.
Yeah, so Heimlich's out there, isn't he?
Heimlich and the ladybug. What's his name?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry. To be more clear, publicly accessible.
Shoot. There's a park. I don't remember what the park's name is, but they have some of the benches that look like popsicle sticks.
And what does
inside of Disneyland?
And still
a rethemed attraction count as something from Bugs Land?
Yes.
Okay, so
that is a half of the question that I'm specifically looking for.
Emotional Whirlwind was Flick's Flyers originally.
Mm-hmm. And then I don't. You can tell us, but I want to say Imagineering is one of the places, but I want to say publicly accessible.
Mm-hmm.
It's a city park that the benches are at, that there's some of the benches at. So that's as close as I can get to that.
I also think they reused some of the audio from Heimlich's Choo Choo Train in whatever the carnival game is that they put in. Does audio? It's not a physical thing.
The question is asking for pieces.
Physical things.
Yeah.
And is it just two things? One in the park, one outside of the parks?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Well, that would be it then.
Okay. So Emotional Whirlwind and the publicly accessible park where they used benches.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're going with? Okay.
And bonus points for Imagineering.
Yeah, bonus points for the not publicly accessible Imagineering. All right. And your fourth and final question from listener Ace. In Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, there's a nod to Basil Rathbone. Who is he? What is the nod, and where is it?
Oh, he was Sherlock Holmes.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember the Sherlock Holmes portrait is somewhere, but I can't remember what room it's in.
It's his silhouette, Sherlock Holmes silhouette, and it's in I don't know what you want to call that scene. The city scene? It's after Winky's bar.
Right.
And then you almost get run over by I don't know, a delivery truck or something. And in that same room is I'm going to call it the city scene, like town square. And in that same room, there's the horse fountain. Does that make any dang sense, Vern? It's like a silhouette in a window.
I know
in
what
one of the
building you're
buildings.
trying to talk about.
Okay.
Yes.
You have to kind of look
and
almost behind you.
Can you tie Sherlock Holmes to Mr. Toad's Wild Ride?
Yeah, the silhouette is in that room.
Can you actually tie Sherlock Holmes besides being the silhouette?
Oh.
Why is there a nod to Sherlock Holmes in Mr. Toad's Wild Ride?
Oh.
What does Sherlock Holmes have to do with Mr. Toad's Wild Ride?
So there's a reason behind the Easter egg. It's not just a random Easter egg.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'm going to chalk that up to I'm learning something new.
Yeah, I think I'm with you there.
Unless, is it the same author, Sherlock Holmes and Wind in the Willows?
I can't remember who wrote Wind in the Willows. No, not in there somewhere.
We're learning something new.
All right, final answers then.
Final.
All right.
Final.
Well, listeners, how did you do listening at home or in your car on your way to work or school? How do you think Teresa and Ryan did? If you stick around until after the discussion, we can all find out the answers together.
Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why drivers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years now. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they'll show you options that fit your budget. So whether you're picking out your first policy or just looking for something that works better for you and your family, they make it easy to see your options. Visit Progressive.com. Find a rate that works for you with the Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
You didn't start a business just to keep the lights on. You're here to sell more today than yesterday. You're here to win. Lucky for you, Shopify built the best converting checkout on the planet. Like the just one tapping, ridiculously fast acting, sky-high sales stacking, champion of checkouts. That's the good stuff right there. So if your business is in it to win it, win with Shopify. Start your free trial today at shopify.com/win.
This week, Teresa and I finish up our conversation about my trip to the Tokyo Disneyland Resort.
All right. We have made our way around Tokyo Disneyland. Let's hop on over to Tokyo Disney Sea and what your thoughts were of that very unique, very gorgeous, and the new Fantasy Springs portion of the park. What were your thoughts for that? Was this like your most anticipated thing for the trip?
I think so, because we kind of had an idea, like we know what you're walking into with one of the castle parks. So you have a level of expectation of going in. We didn't know exactly what to expect when we went into Tokyo Disney Sea, because we'd heard all these fantastic things. We'd seen some photos of some of the stuff, but we tried to we wanted to be spoiler free for a lot of stuff. So we tried to experience when we walked in. And one of the first things that you'll notice is it's not the hub and spoke kind of design to a park.
Yeah.
Which is what we're used to. Even like Epcot, everything like that relies on that style. Mm-hmm. So the park is absolutely gigantic. And
yeah,
we had heard that the obviously the Fantasy Springs rides are the ones that the queues build up the fastest. Mm-hmm. So we decided not to brave the crowds because we were, again, willing to just toss some money at the problem and and
but honestly,
jump in the attraction lines.
Again, if this is your potentially your one time going and experiencing these parks, time is hugely valuable because, like you just mentioned, like you were in Tokyo Disneyland and you did purchase some of those premier access passes and you still weren't able to experience everything. And from what I've heard and from what you're saying here, like I thought Tokyo Disney Sea looked very large before they added Fantasy Springs, and now that's gotta be at least a 2-day park now because just being able to get around the entire thing, let alone waiting in lines to be able to do all the attractions.
So the lot of the park is connected by a series of canals, so you can actually take like not like a steamer ship, but there's a little boat that you can take. If you want to get to Fantasy Springs quickly, that's not the option for you. It is. We did take it a couple of times. It is a lovely ride around the park, but it is not a quick mode of transportation.
You're not beating any of the park rush with that?
No. The issue is that Fantasy Springs is at the furthest part from the park entrance of anything. So that's where that new Disney Fantasy Springs Hotel is obviously connected to the new land. But you have to basically walk through the entirety of Tokyo Disney Sea to get to Fantasy Springs.
Wow.
And I was on the Tokyo Disneyland app, you can see where things are when both parks are connected. And I double checked and I looked on Google Maps this morning, and it is true. Fantasy Springs and Toontown are basically separated by a fairly big but not massive, looks like a service road. So like the Frozen attraction, I think, is really close to Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin in Tokyo Disneyland.
Oh, that's wild.
So we were sitting there in the park one day thinking, now when they built this, did they know they were going to attach it to Tokyo Disney Sea, or did they sort of stick it here and think, okay, we could attach it to Tokyo Disney Sea, or we could attach it to Tokyo Disneyland? And because of the location, either option really would have worked.
You know, it's crazy. So I'm looking at Google Earth right now, and it would have made sense because remember how we were talking earlier about how the Enchanted Tale of Beauty and the Beast is kind of like in its own separate little island of Fantasyland? You could have almost joined up Fantasy Springs and that corner of the park for Tokyo Disneyland. Oh, that's crazy. Wild.
So it was bizarre because you have to trek and keep in mind, I said earlier, if you're going to go from Tokyo Disneyland, you have to take a monorail to get to the other park. So you're basically covering monorail kind of distances to get to the other attractions in Fantasy Springs.
I don't think I recognized that at all. That's crazy. And the entrances to both of these parks are like on opposite ends of where they kind of butt up to each other too. But it looks like, looking at the map here, the Enchanted Tale of Beauty and the Beast and Toontown seem much closer to where the entrance of Tokyo Disneyland is versus the entrance to Tokyo Disney Sea and where Fantasy Springs is. Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah, it looks like you could stand on the roof of Frozen Journey and throw a rock into Toontown quite easily.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
that's wild.
the theming in there was just absolutely next level. Like beyond the attractions, it was a lot of rock work and waterfall features and things like that. So like one of my favorites was a rock work piece of the magic mirror from Snow White, but it was recessed behind a waterfall. And so you're seeing this piece of art through water falling. That's cool. It was very cool. And all of the different princesses and fantasy land characters that we all know and love are represented all over in this rock work style. It's just phenomenally well done. And we just spent a good hour just wandering around looking at the rock work and trying to see how many of the different characters we could see represented in all of these things.
The other thing, too, that I'm noticing with Fantasy Springs is when you're in the theme park, there's only one entrance and there's one entrance / exit. So it's not like how we're used to at Disneyland, where most of the lands, minus like Toontown, there's you can kind of like work your way through it and then like enter on one side and exit on the other, or just have multiple points or different ways you can get to that land depending on where you are in the park. This is no, like you are on a mission. If you're going back there, you're going back there, because that's just, it is what it is, man. Yeah. So since we're still back in Fantasy Springs, how did you feel about the attractions? There are 4 attractions there, right? I think we've got Anna and Elsa's Frozen Journey. There's Rapunzel's Forest, Peter Pan's Neverland, and then there's some cute little thing that's Tinkerbell themed.
Yeah. We never went on the Tinkerbell's buggies, something buggies, something busy
buggies.
Busy buggies. Yeah, we never ended up going on that one. Again, time management. We did do all 3 of the other main ones. Rapunzel's was our least favorite of the 3. Exceptionally well done. It was just very, very short. And the reason that you go on this attraction is one of the last scenes is the lantern scene where Rapunzel and Flynn Rider are on the boat and all of the lanterns are around them and around you, because you kind of go right through. It's a water-based attraction. That room in particular, worth going on the attraction just for that one. And because it was stunning and really, really well done. We only ended up going on that one once because the attraction was so short. We didn't find it worth the time to either stand in line or pay again. Anna and Elsa's Frozen Journey, very similar to the attraction at Walt Disney World, but they didn't have the projected faces, and the story was more in line with like a classic dark ride retelling of the Frozen story. But you got that forward backward kind of motion if you've ever been on the one in Walt Disney World. But the audio animatronics again, just next level. Particularly when one of the first scenes where Elsa freezes the party.
Yeah. Again,
there's some new technology, some new pixie dust in there, misdirection, but it again, don't look at videos if you don't want spoilers, but it was so well done. It looks, the animatronics and the thing, not just the audio animatronics, but the environment around them freeze and ice forms. And it, again, one of those things, if you don't know what you're looking for, you're not going to notice it.
I was going to say, I feel like if you've gone on the one in Epcot, this is like the super plussed up version of that. Like, of course, it's telling the same story, which is the story of the movie Frozen, but this one just takes it up so many more notches. And there's, like Ryan was saying, such more advanced technology that helps them really like just fantastically tell this story. And there's two main scenes, because there's one towards the end that also is when people with freezing and watching how like one of these animatronics is completely full of life and fluid, beautiful movements, to then just be frozen solid as ice in like a blink of an eye is just, I can't, again, something that I've experienced only via POVs, because I am impatient and don't know when I will be able to go visit myself. But even in video, again, it's just like, what? How did they do that?
And they managed to freeze in the attraction. They freeze cloth, which is was the thing that was the most mind bending to me. That something that we because the costumers, like if you listen to any of the people that work on these attractions, they treat the audio animatronics like people, and they costume them like people. They are real fabric. They are real costume material kind of things. And to all of a sudden visibly see that this fabric is now frozen was so cool, because you can sort of picture how an audio animatronic or a piece of castle or something might freeze, but to get something that has natural movement to it to stay in place like that was spectacular as well.
Last attraction, Peter Pan. Very different, I think, from the other ones, because these, the two that you've talked about, are like kind of like classic, but very, very plussed dark rides where it's a lot of physical sets and a lot of animatronics. Tell us about Peter Pan.
And I'll go into this by saying I've always said I don't like screen-based attractions.
Sure,
because and again, like I'll prove to myself in a second, I get proven wrong. Because I don't like sitting in a ride vehicle and there's a screen and that's it. We went on this more than any other ride, I think.
Really?
Because I kept dragging Kevin back. I loved it so much. Wow. It is sort of like, I don't know what, I guess the closest might be like in Florida, Spider-Man or Transformers in California, where you've got the ride vehicle that puts you in front of screens, but also meshes you with real life sets.
Oh, sure.
But I think they have done it like, I like the Transformers ride at Universal Studios, and you can see like set screen.
Sure.
They've taken this to another level as well, where there's obviously, you can see where the screen is, but they have blended the two things so well that you're willing to just kind of roll with it and experience the attraction. So you get stuff like the ride vehicle, just Tinkerbell comes and pixie dusts you. So you fly the ride vehicle. You feel like you're flying because the whole thing lifts. Yeah. I'm gesturing at Teresa. It's always great on an audio-based thing. Yeah.
That's okay.
The whole vehicle lifts up and you feel like, now I've taken off.
Like you've taken off.
And again, the entire attraction in Japanese. I had no idea what the Lost Boys were saying to me the majority of the time, but I was just so enthralled the whole time. I think we did it 4 times.
Wow.
Maybe even 5. We did go through the actual attraction queue at least once, because it was, again, so well themed, and there was stuff to see in the queue. So we did go through there when the lines were at a reasonable length, and we could see some really cool stuff, and it was fun to be in there.
That's wild. I thought for sure you were going to say that the Frozen attraction was going to be like the one to keep going back to, but look at that sleeper hit with the Peter Pan attraction.
And I would have taken the bet for Frozen as well. We did do Frozen, I think, twice, and I was so not prepared for this Peter Pan attraction to grab me the way that it did.
That's wild. All right, well, so we'll take a step out of Fantasy Springs, and let's just talk about Tokyo Disney Sea as a whole. What was your first impressions and just kind of your overall feeling when you enter this park? Because like you said, it is vastly different from all of the other parks that we are used to.
And I think like if anybody's looking at this on one of their podcast player, the episode graphic is me standing in front of the Mediterranean harbor. And I think that was one of the first things that we did was Kevin took a photo of me there. So you're looking
and it's
out,
like right at the entrance, guys. Like that's what you walk in to see is that.
And then
it's not a castle. It's this beautiful,
huge,
I don't know, volcano.
Yeah, the volcano in the background. It has 2 attractions in it as well.
Mm-hmm.
But you just I was blown away by the scope of the park. Like it just, you could tell that the Imagineers were told, we want this to look this way. Go and make it happen. We'll figure out the budget somewhere, because the theming and everything was just so well done. Like I said, looking out the room, you thought, oh, you were looking down into part of Venice. So it was so beautifully done.
Just absolutely. Just it's got to be just breathtaking in person.
Yeah.
The other big thing too with Tokyo Disney Sea is not only does it look vastly different, I feel like it's got a lot of more like unique storylines within the park, and then within all of the different attractions that are here too. So you want to kind of talk through, I don't know what's easiest, if we kind of like make our way around, or if you just want to talk about like the ones that really stood out to you as being very unique.
Look at the different lands and talk about some areas. Of the things that we did. I think over to the if you're going in, you go head left, you kind of get the American waterfront, which is kind of their idea of like Cape Cod, kind of seaside kind of town. And that's where Toy Story Midway Mania is. The Tower of Terror, which we could also see out of our hotel room, which is pretty stinking cool. And their Tower of Terror I don't think it has the Twilight Zone branding on it. It is a unique story. It's not the same as what we had in Disneyland or what Walt Disney World has. They've got their own kind of story. Toy Story Midway Mania, exactly the same attraction that you expect. Although their entranceway, I found frightening. It's it's Woody's face and mouth, and you kind of go in between his teeth to get into the attraction, and it scared me more than anything else in the park, I think. And then up from there is the Cape Cod kind of area where they had an electric railway that runs up through there. We took that. Again,
that looks cool.
They use it as, say it's a mode of transportation. I'd say that you can walk there and back by the time you use it, but it's an elevated electric train, so you do get a great view over the park. And then up towards past the Cape Cod, you've got the Port Discovery, and there was the Finding Nemo and Friends Sea Rider. So fun. Again, like it's a screen-based attraction. Mm-hmm. Didn't understand exactly what everybody was saying, obviously, but you can accept it for what it is. Yeah, so
you still you get the gist of it, even if you don't understand every word.
Yeah, you might be a little lost if you've never seen Finding Nemo or Finding Dory, but still would be enjoyable. And then another sleeper hit was Aquatopia, which we when we heard the name, we thought, okay, it's kind of going to be like Autopia, where we get to drive our own little vehicles through water. It's not. It's an outdoor attraction, and it's kind of like, I'd almost say it was kind of like Luigi's Rollickin' Roadsters. You're not doing a little dance. You kind of get on the ride vehicle. It's almost like an Omni-mover, because the vehicles they're self-driving. Again, they kind of put themselves into the load unload area, and they kind of just keep plugging along, and you get in, and it takes you on this little path through. I'm guessing the water's not very deep, but you feel like you're on a boat.
Yeah.
But because when we were there, it was stinking hot, they had the water effects turned on high, and we got absolutely drenched.
That's fun.
But it was
Ryan?
so fun because you come like face to face with people in other ride vehicles, and so you're just like waving at people, and then all of a sudden a water feature will go off, and everybody gets totally soaked, and it was super good.
So,
And-
Ryan, I have a bit of sad news for you.
Uh-oh.
They've announced that they are permanently closing the Aquatopia this September.
No! Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah,
so sad.
I don't know why, but yeah, it is scheduled to permanently close.
It did not have a
September 14th.
huge lineup while we were there. I will say that, despite the fact that it was quite warm. So
Yeah.
maybe low attendance.
Dang. Well, that's too bad because it does look fun.
Yeah, it was again one of those ones we thought when we saw it saw the list of attractions, we're like, okay, well, we'll pop in that one if we have time, and then we saw people on it, and it looked so good.
So if you have a trip planned to Tokyo before September, make
Go do it.
Aquatopia a priority. There's also some crazy cool things in this area too. Well, I guess maybe it's like, I don't know. Is it technically the same area where Journey of the Center of the Earth is and 20,000 League is Under the Sea, or is that a separate section?
That's the Mysterious Island.
Island, okay.
So you kind of go into the volcano. Unfortunately, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea was closed for refurbishment while we were there, which was really disappointing because that was one of my top rides that I want to do, because it is kind of like their version of the submarines.
Yeah.
But you're in a suspended ride vehicle, kind of think Peter Pan.
Yeah, and it also looks a little less claustrophobic.
Yes, 100%. And you're not with a whole bunch of strangers, maybe a smaller number of strangers. And then they have bubble effects in the windows and things like that, so you feel like you're underwater. So I was super disappointed that was down for refurbishment while we were there.
Ryan, you're just giving me a list of all the reasons that you should be
go back. Yeah.
Going back. Yes.
I will not have to sell Kevin very hard on going back to Japan.
Well,
so
perfect. Journey to the Center of the Earth, was that open?
That was open, and that was Kevin's number one looking forward to attraction. We didn't realize until we got on there. We knew it was sort of a hybrid kind of dark ride roller coaster type of attraction. It's similar to, from our point of view anyway, it seems similar to Radiator Springs and Test Track, where you have the slot kind of thing in the floor underneath your vehicle. Yeah. So you sit side by side in groups of like three rows of two, I think, or maybe four. But you kind of go, if you've read the book, doing the Jules Verne Journey to the Center of the Earth, and it's for the most part kind of like a slow, meandering kind of pace, and you're experiencing things until you meet the creature that is living at the center of the Earth. And I'm not sure if it or Disco Yeti is the largest audio animatronic that Disney's made, but it is certainly one of, if not the largest. And it's this monster that kind of lunges at you, and then your ride vehicle takes off quite quickly. Kind of think the start of the race in Cars.
Yeah.
But you're going through a lot of dark areas. So we went on that a number of times as well.
Very, very fun. Very fun.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
What would you do if your online store converted 36% more shoppers? You could take 36% more vacation.
Another pina colada? Yes, please.
Open a new retail location with 36% more square feet.
Fantastic.
Hire 36% more help.
You're hired and you're hired.
Shopify has the world's best converting checkout, up to 36% better than other e-commerce platforms. What you do with those extra sales is up to you. Switch to Shopify today at shopify.com/listen and get a $1 trial. Shopify.com/listen.
So let's see, we've got the Arabian coast. There's a Little Mermaid themed area.
Yeah, the Mermaid Lagoon. We didn't spend a ton of time in there. It's an indoor attraction area. It has a bunch of like kid rides, kind of think Bugs Land.
Yeah, and like there's one that's kind of like the jumping jellyfish. Maybe they're even called the jumping jellyfish. Like think those kind of like cute little kid rides.
Yeah, but it's nice
all indoors.
Indoor area. Great for air conditioning if you just want to poke. Like there's tons to see, even if you don't go on any of the attractions in there. Loads to see. Beat the heat for a little while as well.
The theming looks incredible too, because it looks like Triton's castle on the outside.
Yeah, and then you get on the inside, and the theming continues right through. Like you're in Ariel's world,
like her world,
the whole thing. You're part of her world.
There you go, part of her world. Very, very cool. All right, I think we just have the one area left, right?
We got the Arabian Coast and the River Delta.
Oh, okay.
Arabian Coast we didn't spend a ton of time there. They had a really neat 2-level carousel. So you could get in on the bottom or the top. We got them on the top side of it. They had some flying carpets there as well. They had a show that we watched, an Aladdin show.
Yeah.
Didn't really understand again what was going on, but it was kind of like there was lots of magic effects and things going on. So we could experience it for that. There was kind of a unique story, I think, where the genie was woken up again and with another magician that was trying to pass off his work.
Oh. And
then there's the Sinbad storybook voyage, which again, another sleeper hit. It seems so bizarre. It's the story of Sinbad and him leaving his hometown. This one, classic kind of dark ride in this sort of the style of It's a Small World. Mm-hmm. You get the story of Sinbad. He's going on his adventure and seeing all of the things that he saw. Again, another massive audio animatronic in there in this this troll or some whatever he was.
Yeah,
massive again. And there, I can't think of the tune now, but at the time there was a song, and it was stuck in our heads for weeks. The rest of our trip in Japan, we'd just still be walking along, and the song would come in our head. Like, I have no idea what we're saying. We don't know if we're saying any of the words correctly to what is supposed to be said, but it was in there anyway. But it was a lot of fun. We did that a couple of times.
That's another one that I've heard a lot of people enjoy, but it never seems to have that much of a wait. So I don't know if it's just not popular or if it's just a very high capacity attraction, but it's a good one to check out for sure because it's enjoyable and doesn't have some crazy long wait to go with it.
Yeah, I think we went on it twice. I think the first time it was basically a walk-on, and the second time it was posted at a 20-minute wait, and I would be surprised if we had waited 10 minutes. So it was nice. And then up in the Lost River Delta, there's two main attractions, was the Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull. Basically carbon copy layout of Indiana Jones in Disneyland, but we had some different special effects, different story. But I believe from what I could tell, exactly the same track layout. Everything like that, but they just kind of put some different effects in different places.
Different story. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then there was the roller coaster to Raging Spirits, Dueling Spirits. I can't remember. Raging Spirits. We did not go on it because they have the same roller coaster in Disneyland Paris, And I found it so painful to be on in Paris. We did it twice there. And when we found out it was basically the same attraction with just different, they're both Indiana Jones themed roller coasters, slightly different themes though. As soon as we found out it was the same one that I felt like my head was going to fall off, I was like, yeah, no, I'm
like, nope,
out.
We're good.
I'm good with that. We can do something different.
Yeah. And it's an exterior roller coaster, so I don't know how much theming really can change between the two different areas.
Yeah.
Dang, very cool. Soarin', did you do Soarin' there?
We didn't do Soarin'. We walked past. The exterior's quite pretty. It's in that harbor area. Mm-hmm. Again, just prioritize time because we've got Soarin' here. I think the only difference is, just like the other parks, they change the final scene, so you come into Tokyo as opposed to to Orlando or Anaheim.
Makes sense. So other things that we can talk about, however quickly or however much time you feel they deserve. I'm curious about food, and I'm also curious about entertainment, whether it be nighttime entertainment or just, regular daytime entertainment. Your thoughts on food and your thoughts on entertainment.
I think food, we both love food. And there was a couple of things that we had seen on, I'm a sucker for a TikTok or Instagram trend. I'm terrible for being roped into those. But there was in Tokyo Disney Sea, there was a gyoza. I don't know if it's called a hot dog, but it was like a bun. It was like a long steamed bun with the gyoza filling in it. Mm-hmm. So it was like the size of a hot dog, but it had like the steamed bread and the gyoza stuff inside with a really, really, really nice sauce. And so we actually made the trek because it's in the mysterious island, not super accessible from anywhere in the park. We trekked there a couple of times to go back and get it.
Wow. So it was so good that you had it multiple times.
Multiple times. Same thing with the green alien mochi dumplings.
Oh, yeah.
Some people are not huge fans of mochi because of the texture. I really like mochi. If you haven't had it before, it's quite a gummy kind of consistency. This would be a good thing if somebody wasn't sure if they liked mochi or not, because the outside of the dumpling was the mochi itself, and then inside it was you got 3 per order. One was a vanilla custard, one was a chocolate custard, and one was a strawberry custard. So you got the mochi with this custard cream on the inside, and the outside of the face was like the green alien, because mochi is looks like traditionally green.
Yeah, I was gonna say they looks like the little green men's head.
Yeah, we had a couple of sit down meals in Tokyo Disneyland. There was a place that had Baymax curry, and so you had your curry, and Baymax has been sculpted out of a little pile of rice. So kind of almost looks like he's sitting in a bathtub full of curry. Kind of sad to eat him because he was so darn cute.
Yeah.
That's one of the things we noticed. A lot of the food here is very Instagrammable, because part of the Japanese culture is the kawaii, the cute,
the cute
thing, and so they want a lot of stuff to be cute. So there was lots of food that was themed. There was hamburgers that we had that had Baymax's eyes that were stamped on them. Mm-hmm. There was a couple Japanese restaurants we went to in there as well. Like you could spend days just eating. And the one really wild thing for food at the Tokyo Disney Resort is their popcorn.
Yeah. And
their popcorn buckets. So we knew we were going to bring back stuff because we are people that have known me from the Discord have seen pictures of my house and know that
You're collectors.
We have a lot of collections. So we knew we were each going to come home with a popcorn bucket. Yeah. So we had allocated space in our suitcases. So I ended up getting a Peter Pan. It's one of my favorites. So it's the clock, the Big Ben clock.
Yeah.
And so it's got a light on the inside that illuminates the frosted kind of glass look of the clock face. Kevin got
it's gorgeous
Winnie the Pooh, which is with this like a big honey pot, and he's on the edge looking in. But the popcorn buckets aside, their flavors of popcorn are crazy. Like they have so many different flavors. And if you are looking for something specific, you have to figure out which popcorn cart or popcorn location has the flavor that you want. Like they had soy sauce, garlic, they had the traditional flavors. Kevin actually, I disliked this one immensely, but he liked it, was roast beef.
Oh.
It was not for me, but he was
but it was
a
for
fan.
Kevin.
So he was quite happy with that. We had popcorn a number of times, and they have a lot of seasonal flavor ones.
Oh, yeah.
So did I say soy sauce? I think that one is my favorite. Soy sauce was really good because it was not soy sauce that you think of like you put on your food now. It's soy sauce with a bit of sweetness to it. So it balanced out really, really nicely. There was a curry one. Like if there's a flavor of popcorn you think is out there, they probably have made it at the Tokyo Disney Resort. It was great.
That's amazing. So overall, would you say the food, while yes, it is very cute, is it also delicious, or is it leaning more to the cute side?
No, I think they managed to balance it really well with the cute and the flavor. Like the hamburger that I mentioned with Baymax's face, that was not something that I would be like, I'm going out of my way to get again. It was it was a Disney Parks hamburger. It was good, but it was not the next level. But those mochi and the dumpling,
the dumpling bun thing,
that's so good. Every once in a while, I just think about I'm like, can I have one of those now? No, I am nowhere near Tokyo. So,
and then real quick before we wrap up, entertainment. What did you think of like parades, nighttime entertainment, stage shows, any and all of the above?
They had a ton of entertainment, so much so that we didn't get to see everything that we probably could have. If like Disneyland California, take note, like bring entertainment back to the parks, because that's something we're missing in our parks.
100%.
But like I said, we saw the one show with Aladdin and the lamp. They have their tiki room is Stitch has taken over the tiki room. Super cute. And there was shows going on in the American waterfront. There is a big show that happens in the Mediterranean harbor. Think World of Color, with the mist screens and fountains and everything. We got to see that on the night that we arrived. We had dinner reservations in our hotel, and our dinner reservation started slightly before the show started. So they actually, before we went up to the buffet, they're like, oh, the show's going to start. Do you want to go out onto the balcony and watch this show from the hotel balcony? It was perfect because we wanted to see the show anyway, so that took it, just checked marked off our list right away.
Perfect.
Lots of fun. There was a parade that happened, a nighttime parade that happened in Disneyland, and I'm forgetting the name of it right now, but it's the same parade that Walt Disney World got a couple of years ago, or last year. So kind of like Main Street Electrical Parade, Paint the Night, not quite as lit up as those ones. But they also have their fast pass system is also for parades. So you can buy. So we bought a spot on the parade route, and so there's actually embedded in the sidewalk in certain areas around their Main Street area, little letters and numbers. So literally you go, it's not like in Disneyland, if you do a dining package, you just sit in this big holding area.
Yeah.
Here you get an actual spot. Yeah. This is your A2, A1, you sit side by side. Don't put your feet out too far forward or you will get a scolding from a cast member. I learned that very quickly.
Too funny. Let's see. It's called Tokyo Disneyland Electric Parade Dreamlight. So it sounds like it's kind of a hybrid of the electrical parade. And because the new Walt Disney World one's like Starlight.
Yes,
Dang,
yeah, that's right.
These floats look gorgeous.
It was a fantastic parade. I loved it, and I was glad because we purchased the passes early in the day, so our little seating spots are right on the forward edge of the sidewalk, so we didn't have anybody sitting directly in front of us, so we got the best view we could.
My goodness, just looking at the website, I can see what you're saying with you just can't possibly do all of the different shows and stuff because it looks like there's a ton of entertainment.
There's so much. You bring up the website. The one thing I will say is their website, I'm guessing, is probably a lot more functional in traditional Japanese. It may have gotten better in the past little while, but I found it challenging to navigate, especially during the park tickets, and we changed our hotel room at one point. It was a little bit, for me, didn't run as smoothly as you would expect. Sure. I'm guessing that probably has to do with the whatever sort of trend. I'm guessing they're using a translation software as opposed to building a whole other English language website.
Oh, you can tell Kevin. It looks like Groot is back at Small World.
Oh, so there's another reason.
Yet another reason. We're just going to, by the end of this discussion, you're going to be booking your next trip to Tokyo.
Exactly.
Too funny. Is there anything that we did? I mean, I feel like there's a million things we could talk about because it's just such an incredible park and it's so familiar yet so different from what we're used to. But is there anything with Tokyo Disney Resort that you would like to talk about that we have not covered yet?
I think we got we talked about a lot. I think we got the main things. I think
the main things.
It's I can't highly recommend it enough. I think Japan in general is a beautiful country, well worth seeing. So if you are somebody who enjoys travel in general and is a Disney person, Japan is a great place to visit because then you can have your Disney fix and you can have your travel fix as well because it's just a stunningly beautiful country all around.
Awesome. So to kind of wrap things up, I'm going to make you answer the last question.
Okay.
If you could work at Disneyland, sky's the limit. What would you do?
I think I would like to be a VIP tour guide. And I talked to Philander about this, like I said, when we were on our VIP tour. I don't want the high celebrity type style clients. That doesn't interest me. I want the other Disneyland fanatics that I can
relate to that I could be like, okay, come and look at this one, like Philander did with us. Like, come look at this one tiny little thing on this one sign posted in front of Big Thunder, and look at this one little tiny piece in this one little tiny corner, and have other people be genuinely excited to look at this one strange little random artifact in Disneyland. I love it. Well, we first spoke with our friends over at Where in the Park back on episode 265. Amanda, Kevin, and Kim create amazing and fun seek and find scavenger hunt games in theme parks all over the United States. Whether you'd like a challenge at the Disneyland Resort or want to explore a new place like Universal Studios, Knott's Berry Farm, or even SeaWorld, there are fun game packs for everyone. From beginner to expert, Where in the Park is perfect for a first-time visit to experience the small details that make the park such wonderful places to visit, or to challenge yourself on your 1000th visit to see how well you know those small details. Where in the Park is for you, so visit our show link in the notes to get started.
Looks like we're coming in for a landing, gang. But please stay listening until trivia comes to a stop, and then you can walk to the nearest exit. Thanks for listening to the 8th wonder of the world, DLWeekly.
Welcome back to TriviaLand, where we are going to find out the answers to tonight's questions, and we're going to see how Teresa, Ryan, and you, our listeners at home, did tonight, or afternoon, or whenever it is you're listening. Teresa, Ryan, how do you think you did?
I think we're learning a couple new things.
Yeah, I'm confident on one, I think.
All right, well, we did have those split decisions, so I'm going to say that one of you had a much better night than you've had in the past.
Ooh.
Oh.
And one of you is on a learning curve.
Well, we'll see who it is.
Your first listener submitted question from listener Jocelyn. What year was Harold, the Abominable Snowman, added to the Matterhorn? We had answers of 1978 and 1975. The correct answer that I was looking for was 1978.
Ooh, good job,
Ooh,
Ryan.
yeah.
Well done, sir. Your second listener submitted question from listener Kristen M. At the loading dock for the Jungle Cruise, there is a sign that reads, "Caution, watch the gap." What animal is on the sign? Split decision here. Ryan saying that it's a hippopotamus. Teresa saying it's a giraffe. Well, this poor animal has 2 feet on the boat and 2 feet on the dock, and the boat is drifting away, causing the animal to be all stretched out akimbo, and it is a giraffe.
I don't know
I can
why.
picture it now.
That
I can picture it now.
every time I look at that, and it just makes me smile.
Your third listener submitted question from listener Ryan G.H. Where in the park can you find a remnant of Bugs Land, and where outside the park in a publicly accessible space can you find more remnants of Bugs Land? You were able to come up with Flix Flyers has become Emotional Whirlwind, and you know that there's a park that has benches and stuff. The correct answer that I was looking for was Emotional Whirlwind used to be Flix Flyers, and the Goals Garden, the publicly accessible park, has several of the statues of the bugs.
Oh.
I did not know that.
That's in. I'm going to have to look that up.
And if I were to pay closer attention and actually scroll down on my computer, there was a third part to the question. So Ryan G.H., I meant no disrespect by not asking that part. Who still has a version of Bugs Land? Ant-Man carries around the land in miniature.
I have not seen that in person, but I've heard about it, and I really want to catch
Next
it
time
and
we're
see it.
there, I am going to stalk Ant-Man because I want to see that. That sounds cool.
Okay, this is wild. Okay, the internet again, beautiful and wonderful place. There's another answer to this question of where you can find remnants of Bugs Land inside of the park. The benches. You can find some of the popsicle benches in Toontown.
Oh, yeah.
We'll have to double check if they're still there or not. But yeah, Toontown had some of the benches for a period of time at least. So maybe they're still there, maybe not. But I did also find photos of the statues in this like community garden thing. And it's kind of wild to see these oversized bug statues of Disney Pixar characters not in a Disney Pixar setting. Because like
just hanging out.
Well, like Mantis, the praying mantis, it has a cane, and they put it. Oh, maybe it's behind it. Maybe it's just a bad the angle of the photo. It looked like this photo. It looks like he became like the holder for the garden hose, but I think it's just a bad. I think the garden hose is actually behind him, and yeah. Anyways, this is wild. I need to add this to my list and go see if I can find where this publicly accessible park is to go check these out.
Like the beetle is just hanging out beside like a Home Depot style shed.
Yes.
That's hilarious.
It just looks beautifully out of place. I found another angle of Mantis, and the garden hose holder is behind him. They didn't actually turn him into a garden hose holder.
Not watering the garden.
Yeah, no, it was just the angle. Yeah. And your fourth and final question from listener Ace. In Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, there's a nod to Basil Rathbone. Who is he? What is the nod? And where is it? You said that it's the silhouette of Sherlock Holmes, a city scene kind of by the bar. Don't know what that has to do with Mr. Toads. Did I more or less get...
Sure.
You said it.
We'll call that good.
Yeah, all right. The correct answer that I was looking for is Basil Rathbone is the voice of the narrator of the Mr. Toad cartoon and the actor that originally played Sherlock Holmes. So, in the ride, there is a silhouette of Holmes in a window of the Constable building over the bartender that is twirling beer mugs.
Well, okay, go back. What?
So as you come around the corner and there's the bartender that's twirling the beer mugs,
Yeah.
And then you go past him and there's the Constable's building, and above the Constable there's the silhouette of Holmes. Holmes was acted by Basil Rathbone, and Basil Rathbone was the narrator of the Mr. Toad cartoons.
Whew.
So to give a nod to the narrator without actually giving a nod to the narrator, they just inserted his silhouette by inserting Holmes.
Holmes' silhouette.
Uh-huh. Sneaky, sneaky.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah. I was picturing it as like a portrait, like a, Main Street silhouette in a portrait kind of thing. But now I'm looking at the picture. Yeah, up above the constabulary.
Yes. So that is why Sherlock Holmes is in Mr. Toad.
That is quite the connection to draw to then have that that double Easter egg.
Yeah. Yeah. So, listeners, how do you think Teresa and Ryan did? How did you do listening at home or at work or in your car on your way to work or school or wherever you listen? If you've got that perfect question that's going to really stump them next time and you'd like to hear that live on the air, please feel free to send that in to dlweekly.net/trivia.
Well, we will be back next week with more Disneyland news and information.
Until then, go out and enjoy the parks.
A special thank you to Sidel for editing the podcast, Andy Mack for all of the wonderful character transitions, and to James D. and Aaron C. for supporting at the Club 33 level.
Hello, I am Baymax, your personal podcast companion. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate this episode? My scans indicate you have been a good weekly tier. Have a lollipop. Now excuse me while I let out some air. Goodbye.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.